What up, my fellow NBA lovers? This is your guy, Marcellus Ease. You know, the Golden State Warriors this season, they're pretty much caught off guard once again. The injury to Klay Thompson was a major blow, and now, unlike last season, they're not relying on D-level guys as a replacement, but they are relying on two serviceable guys in Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre. Now, both of these guys, they're decent players, but they're average shooters, and defensively, that's not really their forte. Now, in the first game against Brooklyn, combined together, they went 7 from 30 from the field and 2 of 12 from three-point range. And a lot of those were open jump shots. So the question I'm asking myself here is, when is Golden State going to reinvent the wheel? They caught the league off guard in 2016 and 2015, and now the league basically caught up. They had an extended period of being ahead of the curve when they added Kevin Durant to their roster. So ever since the league is basically caught up to what the Warriors do, they haven't really made that many adjustments. Now they're going to talk about if the Golden State are a threat this upcoming season. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
They are a serious threat, Molly. And look, let's not overreact to what we saw on opening night against the Brooklyn Nets, because the Brooklyn Nets are going to beat a lot of people like that. The Warriors have the right pieces. Although they're missing Klay, they could be an Oklahoma City Thunder team from last season. I could see them finishing top 5 or even top 6 in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I could see them being in the middle of the Western Conference, but two things would have to happen if they want to take a step up from that. Stephen Curry would have to average over 30 points, maybe even 35 points per game. He would have to be such a threat from the three-point range that he would have to draw way more attention by himself, because guys like Kelly Oubre, he's just been a serviceable guard for most of his career. He had a breakout season last year with Phoenix, averaging 18 points a game, but before then, he was a serviceable guard that averaged anywhere from 13 points per game to about 15. And then you look at Andrew Wiggins, he strikes me as one of these guys that first come into the league, they average 18 points a game, but then for the rest of their career, they pretty much average the same thing. And if you look at Andrew Wiggins, he had kind of a breakout year in his third year, averaging 23 points per game. And then the following 2 seasons, he averaged 17 points, then 18 points per game. And he hasn't really creeped back up over 23 points a game ever since. And defensively, the Warriors may have an issue with these two guys. They're not known for their consistency on defense.
Being a dangerous out, they still have Steph, who I believe is going to have an MVP type season. They have Kelly Oubre, who showed us flashes in that Brooklyn game. Andrew Wiggins will come along. The guy is a 20-point career scorer. And when they get back Draymond Green, I tell people this all the time. Draymond Green is the heart and soul of that team. He gives them swagger. He gives them that tenacity.
Yeah, basically, Draymond Green does set the tone for this team. Hopefully, defensively, he becomes so infectious that it has an effect on Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre. My only issue with Draymond Green is that last season, he barely got touched, and this guy was always injured, on the bench, a bunch of DMPs. I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to age well for the rest of the contract that he's under.
He gives them confidence. And when he get a chance to, when he come back off the injury and he pairs up with James Wiseman, who I believe is going to win Rookie of the Year because the kid is a flat-out stud, the Warriors are going to be a problem.
I don't think it's really the concern of the Warriors for this guy winning Rookie of the Year. I think he'll be a good player. My only issue is that the Warriors, they're kind of on championship mode now. That's always been their MO. I mean, most of their guys are age 32, 33. These guys don't have that much time to go after, a ring or just at least be a major threat in the West. The sand is pretty much coming to a stop on that hourglass for the Warriors.
They're going to be a problem offensively. They're going to be a problem defensively. They have one of the best defensive coaches in the NBA in Ron Adams. I love what Mike Brown brings to the table. So the Warriors, their culture, they're not going anywhere, and they are going to be a threat. Will they win a title this season? No, but they will make the playoffs, and if I'm a team, I'm trying to stay far away from them as possible.
Yeah, they're a threat. Perk, they're not a threat this year. The Warriors don't have enough shooting, period. They don't have enough shooting. They don't have enough shooting, period. They have the greatest shooter of all time with the ball in his hand, Steph Curry. That's the guy.
We'll see this season also, because a lot of people want to see if Stephen Curry could carry this team. I mean, if he goes off and has over, I would say 28 points per game, people are going to look at him a lot differently in the light if he can carry this team over.
Don't have a single other player on the team who shoots average for his position. Not a single other player on the team who's an average shooter for his position. So, like, you're not going to win in the NBA like that. You just can't. You talk about a top 5 or 6 in the Western Conference, they're not going to be better than Dallas. I don't think they're going to be better than Phoenix. Obviously not the Lakers. I don't think
they're definitely going to be better than Dallas. If you look at the Mavericks, this season it's all going to be on Luka. I mean, pretty much the Dallas Mavericks were kind of hoping on the Giannis sweepstakes, and now that it's backfired, they have plenty of cap space, so they pretty much got to wait till next season in order to use it, and they pretty much went after just serviceable guys. And then with KP, of course, on that bullshit that he's always on, taking his sweet time after an injury, he's going to return to basketball-related operations in January. They didn't say he's going to come back on the court. So Luka, for more than half the season, he's going to be by himself.
They're going to be better than the Clippers. I don't think they're going to be better than the Nuggets. I don't think they're going to be better than the Trailblazers. Who exactly are
they 100% should be better than the Trailblazers. That's an overrated team. Defensively, they're pretty much in the same boat as the Warriors, except the difference is the Warriors got a few players that got championship pedigree in them.
They a threat to? Defensively, I agree with you. They have some talent. I agree with you about Wiseman. Wiseman already looks like his floor is pretty damn good, right? That's his floor. Pretty good. So he should be a nice player. They don't shoot it well enough. When you have Steph and Klay, if Draymond's shooting 29%, 30% from 3, that's all right. You can beat you a lot of ways. They can beat you a lot of ways. When you take Klay out of that mix and KD out of the mix, and you start to look around, you don't even have a Harrison Barnes type unless you think that's Oubre, right? You start to look around that team. Where does the outside shooting come from? It can't all come from Steph Curry. You need some spacing. That someone doesn't provide you spacing other than Steph. They don't have it.
Well, that'll fall on the coaching. We'll see how Steve Kerr adapts with the talent that he has. I mean, Max Kellerman seems obsessed with the three-point shooting and the outside shooting, but if you look at the last 2 NBA champions, they didn't really have outside shooters like that. The Toronto Raptors didn't have any outside shooters, no major three-point threats. Same thing for the Los Angeles Lakers. But they had guys who can kill you from the inside, and they also all played remarkable defense. So there's other ways the Warriors can utilize the players that they have.
Max, you don't just need shooting to win basketball games. Guys can get buckets in other ways.
But you do need it.
Andrew Wiggins is a slasher. Andrew Wiggins has a mid-range game. Andrew Wiggins can post up. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not saying that they're going to win a championship, but you don't just have to have shooting to win basketball games. It's other ways to put the ball in the basket, Max. And you have a slashing Andrew Wiggins. You have Kelly Oubre who can get buckets. And excuse me?
Yeah, it sounds like Pastor Perkins is about to turn up on Max.
I'm saying there are other ways to score, but you need a requisite level of shooting in the modern NBA, Perk.
No, you don't, Max. Look at the last 2 NBA champions. No, you do not.
The slashing and the post-ups and everything. You need spacing. You need some guys to threaten from the outside to do that for you. Not to mention you want to count by 3 if you can, and Steph is the best who ever did it in terms of that, and no one else is even an average shooter that way.
See, the thing with these guys is that they're still obsessed with the whole three-point shooting only situation that the Warriors introduced in 2015, 2016, which caught the rest of the league by storm. Now everyone's pretty much has adapted. So the idea of trying to out Golden State guys in 2020 is not going to work as well. That well has pretty much dried up.
By the way, when you have Steph and Klay, and, like on the same team, and they're bombing, now all of a sudden, especially from that distance, dudes like Draymond Green, their three-point percentage goes up, right? Everyone becomes a better shooter because it takes longer for guys to get to them defensively. They have more room to shoot. But when you take Klay away, and KD's not on the team anymore, and it's all about Steph, suddenly not everyone's going to have the same room to shoot. And it's not going to be so easy for Wiggins and everyone to get to the basket. It's not all about shooting, but you need a certain level of it.
Well, the Warriors definitely this year did get more serviceable guys. They're not relying on Pascal or G League level guys to help them out and play major minutes. That was mainly their issue last season. They're not trying to be the worst team in the league.
Okay, Max, so are you telling me the Warriors are not going to make the playoffs this season?
They ain't going to win a playoff series, and I don't know if they make the playoffs. I just named 6 teams that are definitely better than them. So they're going to be competing with 3 or 4 other teams to see if they, and by the way, so what if they make the playoffs? In this league, we're 15 teams in each conference, right? And now you're talking about really with the play-in game, 10 players, 10 teams make the playoffs, because if you're playing in a play-in game, that's the postseason. That's 2/3 of the conference are in the playoffs. So what if you make the playoffs?
Max, stop moving the goalposts to fit your narrative. I asked you a simple question.
Yeah, Max is definitely moving the goalposts, but he brought up a good point right here. Most of the league is going to make the playoffs. You got to be the 10th seed, but I expect the Warriors to be in the middle of that pack.
Are the Warriors going to make the playoffs this year?
I guess probably, because you have a 67.
Come on, Max, stop bullshitting. Yes, the answer is yes. They're going to make the playoffs, but I'm not sure if it means that much because most of the league should make the playoffs this season due to the fact that you can make it being a 10th seed.
% chance of making the playoffs. Any team does.
Okay.
It is what it is. We'll see if Golden State could basically reinvent the wheel. They said that they were ahead of the curve than everyone else. But once again, in my opinion, I believe Kevin Durant helped them extend that whole narrative of just them being ahead of the rest of the league because the league was catching up to what they were doing. And now they're pretty much caught up, and especially with Golden State getting injuries, they're going to have to reinvent what they do. It is what it is. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Peace.